it says, you know, we may look just like physical bodies, but in reality, we're all made out of electricity. And we're all giant balls of light or sound that fill and sustain our bodies, but expand beyond them too. And because these balls of energy hold who we are, that electrical energy, that all that stuff whether it's dark energy or light, everything that we really don't understand, we're all really just big, giant, brilliant, swirling, throbbing, growing, changing balls of electricity. And that because of that, it's very easy to think of there being negative energy out there, or maybe spiritual entities. But the most important thing is that energy is like Velcro. It kind of sticks to you. So if you're around somebody that's very negative, even though you don't want to think that that negative energy is hanging like Velcro on you, oftentimes it is. So it says, when we think about clearing our space or clearing the electrical energy that comes from other people's attitudes or their electricity, that's what this is all about. And understand that basically what we're talking about is putting your living room through a car wash, putting your energy through a car wash. It releases all the old patterns of thought and helps shift the energy around you. And it also does something to you psychologically. When you clear your space, you're kind of putting your mind in a space saying, I reboot myself. So you may be rebooting the energy, but because the energy around us and our energy meshes all the time, when we change our attitude, it often changes the attitude around us of the energy. So clearing is not only just for clearing the spirit of something else around us, it also clears us. And it helps us to be able to set our intention to have a cleared space, reboot ourselves, and it's really very good. Now, prayer does that. Beautiful music does that. And in fact, in my studio,
was it
Feng Shui? Yep, and
Feng Shui helps a little bit of flow.
Yep, in my studio, I at all times have classical and native flute music playing on an iPod. It just repeats itself, and it may be monotonous, but on the other hand, it's that kind of music that never has an ending. It just flows. So I do that because my studio has had some people that were not very pleasant in it. So for me to be able to clear that energy and keep the flow going I know that it makes a difference, because I can tell from my cats, dogs are the same way. Mm-hmm. If I don't have the music on, the cats won't go in the studio. Oh. But if the music's on, it's like the energy is flowing, the salt lamps are on, the music's on, I sage every 3 days. It just creates a lot of good energy. And especially if you do empathic work. It's very important if you're an empath and you're soaking up energy anyway. Mm-hmm. Right. That's Velcroing onto you. You want to be sure that you are taking that Velcroed energy and clearing it once you get home into your space or your motel or wherever you go. Right. So I was going to go into the room here, and we have Anita in the call room. We have Susan from Massachusetts, Emily from Connecticut, Melissa from South Carolina, and Alyssa from Oregon. So why don't we take Susan from Massachusetts? Anita was our last reading and last show, so I'm going to wait for her. And Susan from Massachusetts says, hello, Anne-Marie and Joseph. My son, Lane, has some medical issue, drug related. Oh gosh, do you see him finally overcoming this year? Thank you. Okay, please understand, we can tell you where we see his energy, but we are not medical intuitives, but we sure can tell you where Lane's energy seems to be going this year. What do you have, Joseph?
Well, I do see that the cards recommend here. Well, I do see justice as the present day, as reflected in the present day, and it's upside down. And basically, what I see here is a need to be very patient. You just need to be very patient and deal with a lot of matters in the manner that is. Like, you have to be professional here, seriously. I do see that there are some issues, and I'm not sure quite how serious it is, but the cards do show that this is something that is, this could have even be involved with some broken laws. And so there is much to deal with and much to sort out. I do see this. In the present day as reflected by justice upside down. And that's how the card landed. I do see that basically in the past things used to be okay. And along, as far as finances or possessions or monetary things, I don't see a struggle in the past. But I do see this very odd, unpleasant situation in the present day, and I do see that it is something that is going to last, and I do see that you're just going to feel like you're not really going to be sure if you ever made a right decision involving some matter, but you are being told that you also have to be aware that you don't punish yourself for the decisions that you make. You have to understand that you do the best you can with what you know at the time, and to look back at it and to be self-critical. It just makes you feel bad, because you have to realize you didn't know, nobody else did either, and if you had, it wouldn't have happened, so don't think about it. You have to only remember the lesson, but don't beat yourself up. And also to time. This will take time, and actually with time and patience, it will heal, and love will mean a lot here. But you have to be very patient, and you have to deal with it. But your patience will make this work, and it will take time, and it will heal. That's all I got here, though. So, what do you say, Anne Marie?
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. What I see, Susan, it shows the last 2 months, maybe longer. Well, actually, I'm going to say, like Joseph in the past, I show he had no real problem. It's only this month and next month that I'm showing him refusing to communicate. This is the card of communication. These are spiritual affirmation cards. And so it shows communication, but it's reversed, which means that he refuses to communicate at this time in any way about his problem. It also shows that, and this is the card of affluence, which is also about being in one with your self-confidence, and it's upside down, which indicates that not only does he not want to communicate about this drug issue, he is his confidence and his self-esteem is at an all-time low. But here's the great news I have. That was for March and April. When I look at May, it shows he suddenly has ambition. And that means that at that time, he seems to not be procrastinating on his problem. He's not being as negative in May. In June, I have the card of the universe, which indicates that the universe will show him the right path to take to reach his goals with this problem. And so that was March, April, May, June. And so June and July, it shows his sense of security coming back. And when he feels more secure, he's more willing to invest in his problem. So like Joseph, it's not that his problem ends, but he seems to be taking more steps to try to eliminate it. His self-esteem seems better as the warmer weather starts to come. So I think you can have some hope, and definitely, like Joseph says, you want to be patient. Not everyone has the same way to quit smoking. Not everyone has the same way to quit drinking. And we have to remember, and coffee, we have to remember that all drugs in every way are an addiction. And that just like coffee, cigarettes, and alcohol, that pharmaceutical drugs or harder core drugs, they take patience, but in their case, they can devastate a home more. But I would say be patient, like Joseph says. I think he's going to resolve this on his own. And that's what I see.
The thing is to see, he's been given a chance to see just how unpleasant it is and doesn't want to repeat it. And that's why these things are always, it's like it needs to be unpleasant in order for this not to happen again, basically, is what it is. And some people just don't get it, and it just keeps getting more unpleasant until they finally get it. And then sometimes they don't, they just never get it.
Yep, and then another thing,
Anyway,
when I pull the angel card on him, it's the angel card of, let's see if I can get this, spread your wings. So I feel that he will spread his wings, and he will find a way to resolve this problem. And that's his angel card for the future. He will spread his wings. He will resolve this in his own way. Okay, we have...
Yeah, he doesn't want it to happen again. Yeah.
No. Emily
No,
from Connecticut. Yeah. Emily from Connecticut says, I have been unemployed for about 5 months now, and I'm looking to do some spiritual type work, but obviously have little funds right now. Do you see me finding work, or maybe someone who will help me fund a place to do spiritual lectures? Blessings, Anne-Marie and Joseph. Well, Emily, I don't know what your background is in spirituality for me to look at that. Joseph, can you look at that for her? She wants to do spiritual lecture work.
Okay. Well, I do see that you are someone who's always worked well with others, and I do see that you are very good with. You have a very good balance and control over your own life, so much so that you are actually in a position to give ideas and share and to teach what you have learned. So I do see that there is some spiritual background there represented by temperance, which is a lovely angel, by the way, usually in my illustration that I see here. And I do see at the present day that there is a Knight of Cups, and this is a romantic type of person, calm. And actually, this is someone who makes very heart-based decisions. Could be a Taurus or Earth sign, because it's very, very, this is an earthy quality here. I do see that they're sensitive and idealistic. I do see possibly that there's a merger here of sorts, or a new commitment or a new level that you have just reached, or have probably happening right now, or just happened, or is about to. It just keeps growing. And I do see that you will forge ahead with this venture. I mean, this person's a part of it. He's one of the reasons why it's going to work well, because he does provide that happy sort of feeling that enables you to do this, and having that support, and go ahead with it. And I do see that with some careful decision making on your part, and with your experience. I do see that some creativity could be needed. Maybe another person involved would be helpful that can interject something to it to kind of bring it, I would say, I hate to say the word, make it more accessible to the public, to make it more
Connections. Connections.
connection-wise.
You need
Yes,
connections
yes,
before you can
to,
get into the spiritual
yes,
speaking world.
yes. But I do see that this is something definitely worth working for. As the cards say this, and it is, yeah, you can do this. It's going to take work, but you have support in doing this, so that's very helpful. That's what I see. And I can't give you a time of when it will happen. I do see the Two of Wands that could represent two. I do see that you're working more on this possibly within the next 2 months, but it doesn't really tell me if it will like work or anything. It says it will work. It is something that will work if you keep working at it. It is definitely something worth working at. But, all this is slow going, It does take some time. So it could be even 2 years for all we know. I mean, but I don't see ahead for these things very well like that. I don't go usually beyond a year. So definitely it seems to be a good idea according to this. It shows very positive things for it. All gained by really working at it and some careful planning and some ideas and connections, definitely. Maybe tying into some creative things so that, or maybe perhaps linking to them so that people find you easier. That's something too. Okay, Anne-Marie,
Yes.
what do you think?
Well, the first thing that I pulled up, and I have the card of self-worth, which shows its worthiness, but it was upside down for the past, which shows that your self-esteem and your confidence level was at an all-time low. But as far as spiritual speaking or speaking publicly, I'm showing that you have a magnetic essence, a magnetic personality, and that you seem to attract people to you, and that's sure a good quality to be able to do public speaking. The next thing that I show is that you're very generous. So because you're very generous, it says that it allows others to be generous with you. And the next thing I see is that you're very motivated. So if you're motivated to do spiritual speaking, understand that if you're truly serious, there we go, if you're truly serious about that, people will feel that about you, and I think that they will help you along the path of public speaking. The next thing I say is, what is it that you visualize for yourself? Because visualization is the first step in manifesting. And so we have visualization. Make a mental picture of the goal that you want, simple and to the point, and then visualize it, because that's going to be how you explain what you want to speak on. It's going to be a way to show people that you know your stuff. It's also going to be something that you can develop perhaps in blogging, spiritual blogging, things that will help you gain an audience and get some kind of contacts out there, because connections are everything in the spiritual world. I've been at this since 2001 professionally. I've been doing it all my life, but it's taken me years and years to be able to, like I work for 2 psychic lines, Keen and Best Psychics Directory, as well as professionally reading for my own private readings. And I'll tell you what it takes. Marketing. I spend over $350 a month marketing. I also work for 2 major companies, which helps me get my name out there. So understanding that there's no easy way into the spiritual community, and maybe even harder than it is to get a job. But I would say start out with public speaking, free public speaking to any place that you feel you could communicate how you've lifted yourself out of self-esteem issues, how others can do it. And that's what I see. All right. We have Melissa. Melissa's from South Carolina. My funds are quickly depleting, and I can only see that by May this year, I will have to pack my things and live in my van for a while. How do you and Joseph see things working out for me over the next 6 months? I really have no place to move to. Do you see any type of help coming my way for a place to live? Boy, I sure hope your van is in good shape, because even to live in a van, you have to have a good tune-up or something. Okay. What do you have, Joseph?
Well, I do see that. I do see that in the recent past, there's just emotionally exhausted. I do see that you've been depressed, and it could be that you have been focusing on the things that you do not have. And that is represented by the Four of Cups, and that is something that will always be something that will bring us down, is to look at what we've lost rather than the situation that we're currently in, which is living in a van, which is not very good, or about to. I do see that you have good management skills and that you work well with others, as shown by the Temperance card. And I do see that you're going to work through this. And I do see that I do see that you're able to do something like teach or help others, or possibly assist, or in a position where your knowledge will teach others. So I'm thinking that there's a possibility of such a position if you have these skills or have a degree. I do see that you might possibly even end up maybe working at an educational institution of sorts, even because they do hire staff that is not educated, that doesn't have degrees. There's all sorts of different kinds of people that work for school systems or colleges and universities. There are people that do have these jobs because they have experience in some college. Not everybody has a master's degree or a bachelor's degree. And you can, if you know what you know, and depending on the competition, the cards are suggesting perhaps a position in one of these places. I do see that in the near future, I do see possibly a boss or somebody, a very sharp male, very good leadership skills, kind of a strong sort, and not overly talkative or expressive, but this is somebody who has great ideas and he's a good guy. This could be your boss or someone who's going to be very helpful, and this is coming in very soon. He's the King of Swords, and lucky for you, he landed right side up, because when they're upside down, they are awful. So this is somebody who uses his skills for good, So this is somebody who, this might be your next supervisor coming in very soon. It could be a place that you've already applied for, but basically whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because this is going to work out. So if you have been looking, if you have been putting them in, if you still have resumes to get out there, get them out there, because just do what you're doing. Keep it up. If you're looking, do it. And I do see that you're going to have some possibility here. And it's all going to happen, fairly soon. Within the next... time is a difficult thing, but I am seeing this rather quick, really. I do. Probably within a month or so, yeah. What do you think, Anne-Marie?
Well, if there's anybody that needs an angel reading, it sure is Melissa. So the first angel that I picked up was Archangel Uriel. that says, brilliant idea. So it says, let me see if I can bring this up here. This is the time to take action on your brilliant ideas. That means that if you have an idea to expand yourself, whether it's in something that, like Joseph says, educational, or whether it's just the ability to do something creative with your life, you have, right now is when Archangel Uriel is with you, and take action on those brilliant ideas. The next thing I get is Archangel Ezekiel, which says, notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people around you. And that would be that you are very clairaudient right now, clairaudience, which means that basically this is the time to take action on those ideas and that intuition that you're feeling. You are not only going to have great ideas, but your intuition is going to be soaring before you hit that van. And the next one is spread your wings. Spread your wings, which means basically that the timing is perfect for going on new ideas and expanding yourself. Maybe this leaving this home and getting in your van is going to take you to something that is way more perfect. Obviously, no one wants to live in their van, but if you leave yourself open, and if you leave your intuition open, and if you follow the guidance that I sometimes call it autopilot. Sometimes I think autopilot, which is the same as synchronicity. Those synchronistic moments where we are led to places, to people, to connections that can better our lives with ideas they have or that connect with us. I think that this is where you're headed. And that's what I see, Melissa. So pay attention to that. All right, we have Alyssa from Oregon. She says, hello, Anne-Marie and Joseph. If time allows, I would love an angel reading for the next 6 months or another type of reading of your choice. Thank you so much. Many blessings to you both. Joseph?
Well, I do see the King of Cups. And I do see that this is somebody who perhaps this could be seen as a guardian angel or someone with these qualities because he's a very fatherly sort of person. I don't know which one it would be, but I do see it as a person that has always been an influence in your past. And I do see that as a person, you do have this ability to see things through the eyes of a child. You do seem to have a childlike way in some ways, and that is something as a wonderful quality. However, sometimes this is not a realistic view of the world. Unfortunately, you might be a little bit rosier than it really is, and sometimes you get disappointed when you do see reality. I do see that you need to look where you're going. Basically, it seems like you're prone to being accident prone, and I'm seeing it happen because you're not paying attention, and you need to kind of like get more focused, and that will help you out. Actually, it is a wonderful carefree direction once you know what you're doing. But if you're not looking where you're going, and if you tend to just be like always daydreaming, you'll find yourself having just all sorts of accidents on even in metaphorically, even financially and romantically. If you're not paying attention, you're just going to walk right off a cliff. And so you have to really watch it. So I do see that in the future, I do see you making some choices, and there are many choices to make, and only one is correct. And that's why you need to pay attention in the present day because this will affect your decision-making process in the future, which will involve something very important. And it has to do with something very emotional, represented by swords, because these are the things that get us in the heart and in the mind and our emotions. So I do see that you need to be you need to be aware, and then you will deal with it just fine. But some knowledge is needed, and you need to pay attention in the present day about something and the future. So I will just say that future advice by this card is that you, even though it will be your first instinct that you could handle it by yourself, like, oh, I no problem, I'll deal with it. Well, actually what you need to do is you need to ask somebody who knows this stuff, whatever it is, and somebody who has dealt with it before, has experience, and has been successful, so they know what they talk about. So they will be the ones that you should see in the near future. And
All
I'd say
right.
with sevens, I'd say over the next 7 weeks probably, because this is a process, but it's not going to be a long one. So that's why you need to pay attention now. People are saying things to you, and maybe you're listening to all the good stuff, but you're not reading between the lines, and that's what you need to do. Even with information that you find on the internet, it is not always reputable. Always check your footnotes and always check your sources, and read, really, and stay away from things. I mean, read both sides of the issues, because and stay away from anything that is just simply trying to sell you a product.
Joseph, we're
With,
running out of time. I'm going to give her a little bit of a angel reading. Is
all
that all
righty.
right? Okay.
So I'm done. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
All right. So the first card that I get, the angel card that I get for you on this, Alyssa, is Archangel Jophiel. It says, clear your space and do some feng shui. That goes along with Joseph's watch out
Yeah.
for what your
Focus.
environment, and focus, and maybe you won't trip around so much, or maybe you won't be accident prone. Clear your space and do some feng shui. So there that is. Clear your space. That's the first angel. The second angel I got for you, Alyssa, was nurturing, the card, and this is the Archangel Gabriel. And this is nurture yourself. Really, 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 you're a beautiful person. You do a wonderful job nurturing everybody, but make sure that you nurture yourself as well. Baby yourself. Spoil yourself rotten. This is the time to think about that, as well as how well you fix and take care of everybody else, okay? The last thing that I have for you is Archangel Samphron, and it's gifts from God are coming your way. Gifts from God. So what that says is that your karma's great, and that I believe that you will have amazing gifts from God for the fact that you nurture so beautifully. Just make sure, girlfriend, that you feng shui your space, clear your energy, and listen to this again, and make sure that you do some sage clearing or whatever it takes to not only make your feng shui your space, but clear your energy. And that's what your angel reading is. We have 2 minutes and 13 cents. I would like to wish Bill a happy birthday. I guess
Oh, happy birthday, Bill.
Russ says that he wanted to wish Bill a happy birthday, a happy late birthday. So we want to do the same thing. And
Do we have any sound
Arlene,
effects for that? No.
I don't think so. If we do, I can't
Oh,
find them. Yeah, yeah.
no noisemakers or anything, or cheers,
Um,
or
how I would just wait. Applause. Yay!
happy birthday
Yay
music.
for Bill! Yay for
Yay.
Bill! Yay for Bill! All right. So we have Arlene from Pennsylvania. Hi to both of you. Is there romance in the next year? Yes or no? Just one card. Yes or no?
Yes, 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 there is. He's a guy that he's kind of like almost like he's really well disciplined, like a soldier sort, or someone who might be
Ooh.
maybe he's a cop or a fireman, but he's somebody who is very confident, and I do see that he could be an engineer, or he's responsible, and he's somebody moving in pretty quick. He's the Knight of Swords, and he
And
uses his powers for good.
I have the Page of Cups, which can
Oh, an
indicate,
invitation.
yep, and it invitation. It can also represent a young, spirited, creative soul. So maybe he's a young, spirited, uh, creative soldier, or somebody that is
Well,
very protective
absolutely.
of you.
Somebody with
Protective.
a
So
sensitive
bye.
side.
See you next week,
Bye-bye.
Joseph. Bye.
Okay, great. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.